I've been a firefighter for almost 8 years now, and I thought I'd seen everything. Fires that tore through entire neighborhoods, trapped families that we pulled from burning buildings, even a few situations that didn't have happy endings. You learn to live with it, push through the fear, and focus on the job. But there was one night, one call, that changed everything for me. It's the kind of thing they don't prepare you for in training, the kind of thing you don't ever forget. It was a regular shift, just after 10 p.m. We had been sitting around the firehouse, cleaning equipment, playing cards, waiting for the next call. It had been a quiet evening, no emergencies, just routine checks. There's always a strange kind of tension when things are quiet like that. It feels like the calm before the storm. I didn't think much of it at the time, but looking back, I wish I had paid more attention to that feeling. The call came in just before midnight. My partner Luke and I were the ones to respond. Station 27, respond to 341 Oakwood Avenue. Report of a possible fire, smoke visible. Multiple calls reporting. I grabbed my gear and we were out the door within seconds. Oakwood Avenue wasn't far, just a few blocks from the station. The address rang a bell, but I couldn't quite place it. Maybe it was just another old house with faulty wiring, or maybe someone's chimney had caught fire. Either way, it didn't sound too out of the ordinary. As we pulled onto Oakwood, though, I felt a weird sense of unease settle over me. The street was dark, darker than usual. The streetlights seemed dimmer, and the houses loomed like shadows, barely visible through the thick fog that had rolled in. The neighborhood was quiet, too quiet. There were no people standing outside, no one gawking at the smoke or trying to help. And that's when I saw it. The house. 341 Oakwood. The place was massive, an old Victorian-style mansion, the kind you don't see much anymore. It looked abandoned, the windows boarded up, the paint peeling off the walls. But there was smoke, a lot of it, pouring out of the broken windows on the second floor. "Looks like the real deal," Luke muttered as we parked the engine. We grabbed our gear and rushed toward the house, but the closer we got, the worse it felt. The smoke wasn't right. It wasn't the usual thick, black smoke from a house fire. It was almost white, thin and swirling like fog. I'd never seen anything like it. We radioed in, letting dispatch know we were on the scene, and then we approached the front door. It was already hanging open, creaking as the wind pushed against it. I called out, "Fire department, is anyone inside?" No answer. We made our way inside, the thick, smoky air hitting us immediately. It stung my eyes, burned my throat, but there was no heat. No flames, just smoke. We split up. Luke headed toward the stairs to check the second floor while I stayed on the ground level. The house was a maze of narrow hallways and cluttered rooms, each one filled with broken furniture and dust-covered knickknacks. It was clear no one had lived here for years. I checked room after room, but there was nothing. No people, no fire. Just that strange white smoke, drifting through the air like mist. I was about to call it in, tell Luke to forget the second floor and get out, when I heard it. Footsteps. Slow, deliberate, coming from the floor above me. At first, I thought it was Luke, but the sound was too heavy, too uneven. I paused, listening, my heart starting to race. "Luke?" I called out. No response. The footsteps continued, pacing back and forth across the ceiling above me. It sounded like whoever, or whatever it was walking in circles, like they were trapped up there. I turned and headed for the stairs, but as I reached the bottom step, something stopped me cold. A low, guttural voice. Faint, but unmistakable. It was coming from the second floor. It sounded like someone or something was whispering, muttering in a language I couldn't understand. The words were soft, but the tone was chilling, like nails on a chalkboard. I froze, my skin prickling with fear. "Luke?" I called again, my voice cracking. Nothing. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. I could still hear the footsteps, still hear the voice, but there was no sign of my partner. My instincts were screaming at me to leave, but I couldn't. I couldn't leave Luke up there alone. I grabbed my flashlight and took a deep breath, forcing myself up the stairs. Each step creaked under my weight, the sound echoing through the empty house. The smoke was thicker up here, swirling around me in ghostly tendrils. making it hard to see more than a few feet in front of me. I called out again, louder this time. "Luke, where are you?" The footsteps stopped. The house went silent. I reached the top of the stairs, my flashlight cutting through the thick haze. The hallway stretched out in front of me, lined with closed doors. The air felt heavy, like the walls were closing in on me. That's when I saw it, a shadow moving at the end of the hall. It was quick, just a blur of darkness, but I saw it. It ducked into one of the rooms, disappearing behind the door. My heart was pounding in my chest, my palms slick with sweat. I took a few cautious steps forward, trying to convince myself that it was just Luke, that maybe he hadn't heard me. But deep down, I knew it wasn't him. I reached the door at the end of the hall, my hand trembling as I grabbed the handle. I pushed it open slowly, the hinges groaning in protest. The room was empty. Nothing but dust-covered furniture and the same eerie, swirling smoke. I stepped inside, my flashlight sweeping across the room. My breath caught in my throat when I saw it. Carved into the wall, deep and jagged, were symbols, dozens of them scratched into the plaster. They were crude, almost childlike, but there was something about them that sent a chill down my spine. And then I heard it again. That voice, low, guttural, whispering behind me. I whipped around, but there was nothing there. I backed out of the room, my heart racing, and stumbled into the hallway. The footsteps started again, but this time they were faster, closer. I bolted down the stairs, calling out for Luke as I ran. My voice echoed through the empty house, but there was no response. I was halfway to the front door when I saw him. Luke was standing at the bottom of the stairs, his back to me, his head tilted to the side. "Luke," I gasped, relief flooding through me. "We need to get out of here, man. There's something wrong with this place." He didn't respond. I moved closer, reaching out to grab his shoulder, but the second I touched him, I knew something was wrong. His skin was ice cold. "Luke?" I whispered, my voice shaking. Slowly, he turned to face me, and my blood ran cold. His eyes were wide, unblinking, his face pale as death, and that's when I saw it. Etched into his skin across his forehead were the same symbols I had seen upstairs, the same jagged, crude markings. I stumbled back, my heart hammering in my chest. "Luke?" I called again, my voice barely a whisper. He didn't move, didn't blink, just stood there, staring at me with those empty, lifeless eyes. I didn't wait to see what happened next. I turned and ran, bursting through the front door and out into the cold night air. My chest was tight, my lungs burning as I sprinted toward the engine. I could still hear the footsteps, still hear that low, guttural voice, but I didn't look back. I jumped into the engine, slamming the door behind me. My hands were shaking as I grabbed the radio, my voice trembling as I called it in. "Dispatch, we need backup. Something's wrong at 341 Oakwood. We need help." I waited for a response, my eyes glued to the front door of the house, but there was nothing. No movement, no sound, just silence. Backup arrived a few minutes later. They found Luke inside, unconscious but alive. He didn't remember anything. Didn't remember hearing the voice, didn't remember the symbols, didn't even remember going inside the house. But I remember. I'll never forget the way he looked, the way those symbols were carved into his skin. And I'll never forget the way the house felt, like it was alive, like it was watching us. I haven't been back to Oakwood Avenue since, and I don't plan to, because whatever was in that house, it's still there, and it's waiting.